What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And this one, I want to just briefly talk about Tesla stock and then talk about how the market is likely going to move. I'm also going to talk about some other important factors involving Tesla, as we have some big pieces of news coming out involving Saudi Arabia, something Goldman Sachs just said about Tesla that's very important, and also things Elon Musk said about some news involving Saudi Arabia as well. But before I break anything down all this information, let me just mention a couple of things. I'm firstly not a financial planner, so take none of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below in the description. If you sign up from Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you are guaranteed up to 12 free stocks. The offer ends in just 9 days, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's break down what's going on with Tesla. Just to be clear with you guys, Tesla is looking a little bit weaker, but there is a chance that it could try to bounce off this 4-hour 50 EMA just a little bit before this thing continues to sink. Now, that could lead to like a 270 retest around there before this thing continues to drop a little bit lower. And we're going to be watching to see if this thing establishes a lower high. Now, I just want to note that there is a possibility of bad news coming out. If we just break below the 50 immediately and this thing starts sinking, Tesla could be on its way not just to 260, but maybe even this gap support around this 257 area. So if we break the 50 EMA right here, this 50 EMA is right here, this yellow support line, this thing could start sinking harder. It could bounce a little bit first, which I think is very probable before that ends up happening. So watch for that very carefully for tomorrow. When it comes to SPY and others, there is still some upside potential thanks to Apple potentially pushing higher. Not to mention, if Apple does try to continue pushing for this cup and handle like formation, this could push SPY just a little bit higher towards 445 if we break below our 50 EMA. And the market could see a little bit of upside on some tickers. If NVIDIA breaks 442, it could also see some upside. But don't forget that Tesla's starting to underperform a bit because we had some bearish news and we had other pieces of news which are very important. All right, so let's talk about the news now. What's going on with the news? We had some new price cuts coming out from Goldman Sachs as they're saying that Tesla's profitability may be hindered because of the fact that Tesla had a lot of these, price cuts. Their margins may not be the best, and there could be some pain coming for Tesla investors, according to Goldman. That is very important, and whatever happens is going to be very telling for how Tesla ends up performing. So make sure you guys are ready because this could lead to more volatility later on. This news came out in the morning, that's why Tesla sold off, but this could have an extended effect on it later on. This is trying to lead to more bearish price action. There's also some talk that came out about how Turkey's president and Elon Musk have been talking about establishing a Tesla car factory in Turkey. That would be very, very bullish news for Tesla if that were to be announced. And Tesla's continuing to try to grow as time goes on. This is very important for their growth mindset, their entire goals to be met, as Tesla has some very, very ambitious goals. And this is also very important for Tesla to continue to maintain the important levels that we are seeing right now. Now, I just want to mention that the market right now is liking this. Tesla didn't like this news that came out. I think that this was good news for Tesla, but overall, it wasn't really enough to trump the Goldman Sachs news, right? So Goldman Sachs had a much bigger hand on Tesla. Besides that, there's been more talk about how world leaders court Elon Musk for the Tesla factory. We're starting to see Saudi Arabia get involved and other leaders out there. We also saw the Turkish president, talking to Elon Musk. And then, not to mention, Saudi Arabia are also claiming that they are in early talks with Tesla. They're working on it. But Elon Musk said that that's not true, that Tesla's not as interested in Saudi Arabia. So he had a very different view. Musk also met up with Modi, who is the prime minister of India. That is great news for them. And he mentioned that this could be a very significant investment for the country and also for Tesla. Now, moving forward, there are other leaders such as the prime ministers of like France and Italy, not to mention Spain, all trying to attract Tesla as EV sales boom in the EU. So it's all very important to note. I also want to note that Musk, like I said before, he denied the reports about Tesla potentially, building a factory in Saudi Arabia and things like that. He mentioned that right now they're not really as interested in Saudi Arabia. They've been more focused on like Turkey and other places like that. He mentioned that's an utterly false article from the Wall Street Journal. You can see it right over here. So we'll see what happens moving forward. Musk is once again not happy about this news coming out, but we'll see what Tesla does. Two last things which are not as significant but worth noting is Tesla's battery longevity may be better in colder climates, according to a new study. Remember, we can't say this with 100% certainty just yet. The study just suggests this. I know this article could be a little misleading, but right now, the study does suggest that the cold weather, may actually be good for the long term of the EV battery packs. And they also mentioned that this could be very, very good for Teslas too. They mentioned that the Recurrent, which has access to the data from over 12,500 Tesla vehicles in the US through the software service, has been releasing a new look at the batteries based off the data. And what they basically found is that the range score tended to be a little bit better in colder climates than those of like the hotter climates, but it's actually very minor, very, very minor. I wouldn't necessarily say that climate is the only factor that could be affecting it. It could be like has more to do with how much people drive and other factors. So we'll have to wait and see on this. These areas right here tend to be they tend to have very different climates, so that could be a big factor. But you'd have to look at many, many different factors as well to make a claim like that. But if anything, I would say that if that's the case, it's not like that huge of a difference. But it is to some extent worth noting. So we'll see if this does affect some buyers to some extent. It's a very, very minor difference. It doesn't seem like that crazy to me. But I mean, if this is the case, it could be better for the batteries to preserve themselves and continue to improve. Tesla also has improved the reverse camera view in the new update, and you can see how much it actually improved. So we can see the new update right over here. It actually looks a little bit better. You guys can see them side by side. And in my opinion, I think it looks quite nice to see the new update. It's more clear. It's a little easier to see each of the sides. And I would say that this view looks a little better too. I actually think this view is better. So yeah, I would say it's a nice improvement. It looks quite good. And I think that this new update would be more useful for more and more of these drivers. They're continuing to update us, of course, so that's going to be even more helpful. There's also this news right here that they've reversed the camera adjustments and camera clarity has improved, like I said. Good news for Tesla. They could also do other adjustments just from there as well. And besides that, with these updates, Tesla is still in very, very good hands, at least for its long term. For the short term, does Tesla have some downside? There's a real risk of downside, yes. For the long term, I'm still very, very bullish for Tesla, especially towards November and December with Cybertruck coming out and all these other bullish pieces of news. So with all that said, guys, like I told you guys in my earlier videos, for Tesla, I'm still very optimistic for what's about to come. I can't wait for this first Cybertruck to be coming out very soon. We're starting to see more and more fleets of the Cybertruck being released. I think this is going to be very positive for Tesla's future. I think that with the backlog of orders, I was talking about how they have millions, possibly millions of pre-orders potentially for it, or at least people just trying to hold reservations to get their hands on the Cybertruck. That is amazing, and it really shows how strong the company's brand is and what this thing could really do. So anyways, the bottom line is there could be some weakness coming to Tesla stock. You're going to be watching your EMAs very carefully. And don't forget that the news has been a little bit more in favor of the bears, as we had the biggest, most significant news being Goldman Sachs downgrade. And besides that, just watch the chart, do what you have to do, guys, and I will talk more about some more news tomorrow. So thank you for listening. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys very soon. Thank you, and peace out.